Have you ever looked at someone in their 70s, full of laughter, movement stories, and then heard just a few years later that they passed away far too soon? It doesn't make sense. They were eating right, walking every day. They were in every visible way. Okay, but something happened beneath the surface. Something no one saw. Not even their doctors. I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to tell you the truth because for over 30 years, I've worked with older adults. And in that time, I've come to recognize a pattern, one that rarely gets discussed in medical offices, one that might even make you uncomfortable at first. But if you stay with me, if you can set aside what the world has told you about growing old, then what I'm about to share may just return something to you that you thought was already gone. Not just years of life, but the feeling of being alive. Let me ask you something quietly. Have you, in the past few years, felt a strange dullness, a distance between you and your own body, a kind of invisible aging you couldn't quite explain? This video is about that. Because the truth is, what steals life from older adults isn't always disease. It's not always cancer or heart failure or accidents. It's not even memory loss. It's something far more subtle. It is the slow and silent death of physical pleasure. Now wait. Don't turn this off. Because I'm not here to make you uncomfortable. I'm here to offer you something that's been buried too long. I'm Dr. James. And I believe that regaining connection to your body, your real, physical, living body, is the key to not only surviving past 80, but to waking up each day with vitality and mental clarity. And here's the best part. You won't need expensive pills or extreme routines or punishing diets. You only need something you already have. Something that's always been there, waiting to be welcomed back. So take a breath, sit back, and listen closely. Because what you're about to hear could restore not just your strength, but your sense of self. And if anything I've said so far has stirred something in you, if you felt even the smallest flicker of truth in these words, then stay. This conversation is for you. If you've been quietly wondering if you're losing your spark, subscribe to Senior Fit. This is where aging becomes awakening. Now, let's talk about the silent epidemic no one talks about and why ignoring this one part of your life could be costing you everything. For many older adults, something vanishes, but not all at once. It starts with disinterest, a dullness, a fading connection. You stop reaching for your partner or yourself. You stop feeling that fire that once moved you. And you tell yourself, it's just aging. But what if it's not? What if this fading isn't natural decline, but a decision made for you by shame, fear, or culture? I want you to hear me clearly. Losing physical pleasure is not a requirement of aging. It is not your fate. It is not written in your biology. It is a silent epidemic, and it is robbing people mentally, emotionally, and physically. Why do I call it an epidemic? Because I've seen it again and again in men and women, 60, 70, 80 years old. People who once lived with warmth and desire, now quiet, withdrawn, detached. They don't talk about it, but I see it in their eyes. A kind of grieving for a part of themselves they believe is lost. It's not their heart or bones that gave up. It's that they lost touch with something essential, their physical aliveness. Here's what happens when physical pleasure fades from your life. Blood flow to certain organs diminishes. hormone levels decline even faster. Sleep becomes fragmented. Mood becomes unpredictable. Your immune system weakens, and you become more vulnerable to everything. Fatigue, chronic illness, cognitive decline, depression, and all the while, no one is talking about it. Because society decided intimacy, pleasure, and desire are for the young. That belief is killing us. Touch, connection, sensation. These are not luxuries. They're not youthful indulgences. They are survival mechanisms. Without them, the body slows, the spirit dims, and the joy that was once so effortless becomes foreign. But it doesn't have to be this way. There is a way back, and it starts by reclaiming what was never meant to be lost. When you experience pleasure, physical, emotional, sensual, your body doesn't just react. It begins to repair. This isn't just poetic. It's biological. In older adults, even small acts of touch and self-connection can set off a cascade of restorative effects. Endorphins are released, relieving pain and lifting mood. Oxytocin flows, reducing stress and building emotional safety. Dopamine rises, improving motivation and mental clarity. Testosterone and estrogen levels are gently supported. And most importantly, blood moves. It circulates, nourishes, restores. Blood is life. And when pleasure reawakens, blood follows. Pleasure tells the body, you're safe, you're home, you're needed. It tells the mind, you're still alive. And that message alone can shift the entire chemistry of your being. You sleep better. You digest more calmly. You move with more ease. Even your brain lights up, especially in the regions responsible for memory, creativity, and executive decision-making. That's why older adults who maintain regular physical affection, whether partnered or solo, often exhibit greater resilience in aging. They recover faster. They stay sharper. They engage more deeply with life. Because pleasure is participation. It's a way of staying in your body, in your senses, in this world. It's a way of saying, I still belong here. In part 4, I'll walk you through exactly how to begin restoring this connection safely, respectfully, and gently, no matter your age or experience. It's not about performance. It's about presence. And the next chapter of your life is waiting for you to step back into it. You don't need a younger body to feel alive again. You don't need to turn back time. You only need to turn inward with care, with intention, and with a willingness to listen to yourself again. That's what the restoration method is all about. Not fixing what's broken, but reawakening what's waiting. And it begins not with medicine, but with a soft moment of permission. Step 1, set the space. Choose a place where you feel completely at ease, a room that's quiet, a chair that supports you, maybe a soft blanket or low lighting. No distractions, no expectations. This is not about doing something right. It's about remembering who you are beneath all the noise. Even this step alone, creating an intentional space, sends a message to your nervous system. You're safe. You matter. You're allowed to feel again. Step 2, come back to your breath. Sit or lie comfortably. Place a hand over your belly or chest and begin to breathe, not forcefully, but naturally, slowly. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Let your body fall into rhythm. Feel the tension begin to loosen. Shoulders, jaw, hands. This breath is not just oxygen. It's your anchor. Every breath invites you home. Step 3, Gentle sensory awakening. Start with non-sexual, non-judgmental touch. Your arms, your face, the inside of your elbows, the backs of your hands. Notice what areas feel alive and which feel numb. It's okay. The goal is not intensity. The goal is presence. Touch yourself like someone you love, with kindness, with reverence. Explore forgotten places, your lower abdomen, your thighs, your neck. See how your body responds, not in rush, but in whisper. This is not about climax or pressure. This is about building a new language with your body, one of trust. Step 4, invite sensual awareness. As comfort builds, you may choose to explore deeper sensation, whether that's simple self-stimulation or tuning in to what feels good. Again, there is no goal. Let pleasure be something you receive, not chase. Let go of the stories that say you need to look or act a certain way. This is your time, your temple, your healing. And if emotion rises, grief, joy, surprise, welcome it. The body remembers everything. Sometimes what returns is not just sensation, but memory. Let it come. Step 5, integration and stillness. When you feel complete pause, don't rush to move on. Don't get up and go. Place both hands over your heart or belly, breathe, and silently thank your body for showing up, for still being here, for trusting you. This final step is where the restoration truly begins, because it reminds you you are still capable of connection. You are still worthy of tenderness, and you are still alive in ways that matter. Remember, this isn't about doing something sexual. It's about doing something sacred, a weekly ritual, a monthly check-in, even 5 quiet minutes before bed. They add up. Over time, they restore pathways, neural, emotional, hormonal, that the world told you were gone. They aren't gone. They were only asleep, and now they're waking up. If this part of the message resonated with you, if you're ready to gently reclaim what was lost, write "I'm ready" in the comments. You never know who you'll inspire just by saying those 2 words. And if you haven't already, take a moment now. Subscribe to Senior Fit, where we believe that connection is not just for the young, it's for the living. And you, my friend, are still very much alive. You've heard the truth. You've begun to feel it. Maybe you've even started exploring this connection. Again, your breath, your body, your right to feel good. But let me prepare you for something equally important. Even the most healing journey can be quietly derailed by the wrong beliefs, because long before the body forgets how to feel, the mind is taught not to try. Let's talk about the 3 most common mistakes I see older adults make. Mistakes that seem small, but silently weaken the very foundation of physical and emotional well-being. And most importantly, how to overcome them with compassion and truth. Mistake number 1, believing pleasure has an expiration date. This belief is deadly. I'm too old for that now. My body isn't what it used to be. I should focus on more important things. These thoughts may sound harmless, even practical, but here's what they really do. They shut the door on joy. They silence desire. They tell your nervous system you are no longer allowed to come alive. And your body listens. Over time, that rejection, subtle repeated, leads to decreased hormone activity, poor blood flow, and lowered immune resilience. Pleasure is not an age-based privilege. It is an ageless need. You don't need to go back. You only need to go inward. Mistake 2, associating intimacy with shame. Many of us grew up in silence, in homes where touch was rare, in communities where self-exploration was condemned, in cultures that taught sex is dirty, especially alone, especially now. Those teachings go deep. They don't just affect behavior, they shape biology. When you believe your body is wrong, it responds with tension. When you believe touch is shameful, your nerves dull. And when you reject pleasure, your body shuts the door on healing itself. But shame is a story, not a science, and stories can be rewritten. What if instead of guilt, you gave yourself gratitude? What if self-touch wasn't hidden, but honored? You're not disrespecting your body by reconnecting to it. You're thanking it for surviving. Mistake number 3. Waiting for the perfect time. I'll try. When I lose some weight, when my back hurts less, when I'm not so tired, and days pass, then months, then years. But healing does not wait for perfection. It waits for permission. You don't need the ideal moment. You need a small one, a quiet minute, a locked door, a hand resting on your chest while you breathe. That's enough, because every spark you light in your nervous system, no matter how small, creates ripple effects, and soon, what felt awkward becomes familiar. What felt numb becomes warm. What felt distant becomes yours again. The antidote: self-kindness over perfection. You will not get this right because this is not a test. It's a relationship. Some days, your body may feel unreachable. Others, it might surprise you with what returns. Let each moment be what it is. No pushing, no punishing, just presence. The biggest mistake is not failing at the practice. It's never starting at all. If any of these blocks have felt familiar, leave a quiet me too in the comments. You'll remind someone else they're not alone. And if you're ready to keep walking this path slowly, gently, intentionally, then stay with us for the final part. The emotional return. What awaits when you reclaim your body? When you begin this journey, you may think it's just about sensation, about feeling good again, sleeping better, thinking more clearly. And yes, all of that comes, but something deeper begins to happen too. Something most don't expect. Something quietly life-changing. You begin to remember who you are. Not just your name, not just your age, not just your role as parent, partner, caretaker, survivor, but you, the part of you that once danced without reason, that once loved your own reflection, that once reached for touch without shame or apology. That part returns, and with it comes more than energy. It brings back dignity. This is not about sex. It's about self-respect. The world has tried to shrink older adults into shadows. Don't be too loud. Don't want too much. Be grateful just to be here. But we are not here just to exist. We are here to live, to feel, to move, to connect, to light a fire in our bellies and say, I'm still here. Because this isn't about reclaiming youth. It's about reclaiming worth. One woman in her late 70s told me, for years, I felt like I was disappearing. But now, I touch my own skin and remember, I'm still me, just older, and maybe even softer, even wiser. Another man, 84, after his first month of practicing the restoration method, wrote, I didn't know how much I missed myself until I found my way back. I don't even need much, just those 10 minutes. It's like I press a reset button and suddenly I'm awake again. These stories aren't rare. They're just rarely told. If you followed this entire path from awakening the body to releasing shame, then you've done something many never dare to do. You've returned to yourself, and this return isn't loud. It's not flashy. It's quiet, steady rooted, like the slow warmth of morning sun on your face. like remembering the words to an old song you thought you'd forgotten, like coming home to a part of you that never stopped waiting. If this series has meant something to you, if it opened even one door, please consider subscribing to Senior Fit. This is not a channel for quick fixes. It's a place of returning, of remembering, of rebuilding. We talk about the things that matter when the world tells us we should be silent, because strength after 60 isn't about lifting weights. It's about lifting yourself. So stay with us. Subscribe to Senior Fit, where aging is not the end of your story. It's the rediscovery of everything that still lives inside you. And if you feel ready, leave a comment below that simply says, "I'm still here," because that one sentence may light the way for someone else who almost gave up.